I get it. That symbolizes wearing a dead animal over your shoulder, but instead he's
wearing a dead person.
So is it more ethical or less ethical?
What's going on? We're doing our Halloween special this time. Let's jump right into it. Gilmour, you have stories for us. What's going on with that?
He jumped in like really fast.
I feel a presence.
It's me.
Yeah. Sexy
Just his friend.
presence.
I was the only one that dressed up here. I don't know. It's kind of.
I'm dressed up.
I'm dressed up.
I'm being haunted or something. I don't know what this thing is.
All right, so we got some spooky stories for everyone here on Story Stories. Gilmour is our resident creepy guy, so I kind of want to hear your story.
What does that mean?
Even I got offended by that.
God damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to hear some of your stories. I want to hear the scariest story you got for me right now.
The scariest one.
Yep, starting off strong. I want the top of the line.
All right. So as you guys probably know, because I've probably bitched about it before.
Yeah.
In my family, there's a lot of like supernatural crap that happens only to the women of my family, so sexism or whatever, but
it's just really sexist ghosts.
Yeah, really sexist ghosts. But yeah, according to my mom, who's insane, all the women on her side of the family have like seen dead people and stuff like that, like seen ghosts and all that. So she had a bunch of things happen to her when she was younger, and like probably the scariest ghost story I've ever heard is one that she told me about her, like when she was a little kid. When she was really young, she had a dog named Ketchup, who I don't know why.
Okay.
I think it had something to do with eating ketchup or something.
Hot in here.
Yeah, you burning out.
It's so toasty. I'm sweating.
I'm wearing twice as much as you are. And I've got something possessing me too.
Hotter.
No, that can't be it. Anyway, so like. When she was really young, like maybe 6 or 7 or something like that, she was left alone because back then, I guess, parents didn't care or whatever.
Yeah.
So they left her alone with her older brother who was like 7 years older or something. But he went out as well and just left her completely alone at the house with the dog.
Brother's name was Mustard. Your mom's name is Mayonnaise.
And my name's Salty.
Okay, that was pretty good. That was quick. You're on the ball.
I hate my life. But
we hate your life too.
Yeah,
that was mean. I'm sorry.
Everyone hates my life. It's true.
I'm sorry.
Happy Halloween. Gilmour's resistant.
This turned from spooky to sad. But yeah. Anyway, so she lived in this, or she was in the house alone, and they were off wherever. And the dog, I guess, always had been a quiet dog and everything. And then one night, it just like sat bolt upright and like started screaming. You know how dogs, like when they're terrified, they don't howl, they
yell?
They make a horrible noise or whatever. Ketchup started like screaming and trying to like dig her way under the couch, under a table, just getting under stuff. And so my mom was like, "Okay, what the hell's going on?" And then she heard like upstairs, and she was like, "Oh my god, someone's breaking into the house."
Yeah, I would think the same thing.
Yeah, that's what she thought. She was like, "A burglar, oh my god." And so but she didn't want to call the cops, I guess, without knowing for sure. So she called the number that her mom had left for her to get a hold of them. So she calls the number and she asks for her mom, because it was like a payphone. Her mom comes to the phone and says like, "Oh, hey honey, what's going on?" She explains what's going on. And my grandmother goes like dead silent and goes, "I'm going to pass you to someone we met at this conference." And my mom's like, "Hell, conference? What are you talking about?" And she hands the phone to like, I don't know what accent it is, but it's like old Russian woman is how she describes it. Like
my accent too.
Yeah.
Wow, this really is scary.
Russian.
Russian women.
I mean,
but
sorry.
Yeah, so
I'd give one a go.
So this this old Russian woman comes on, or like whatever gypsy type woman comes on, and my grandparents had been at like some sort of a supernatural type convention, like meeting mediums and stuff. At the show Supernatural. Yeah. Back when it was good.
There's a ghost upstairs like, "Sorry, I'm getting autograph. Jared and Jensen, they're here.
They're here.
Sorry,
I'm
mayonnaise.
Here. Screw you." But yeah, and so this like medium or whatever came on, and my mom describes, and once again she's like 7 or something like that. She describes what's going on, and the woman, in her like thick accent, is like, "What do you have is a poltergeist or whatever," and my mom's like, "What the hell's that? A spirit that's going to haunt you and blah 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 and all this sort of stuff," and so she asked, "What do I do?" And the woman told her, like, this whole, I don't remember all the steps, but, like, a whole procedure she had to do in each and every room of the house. Because she told her that ghosts don't haunt places.
They haunt people.
They haunt people,
Yeah.
which is, like, my family saying,
Or
apparently.
condiments.
Condiments.
Okay.
Yeah. They haunt condiments.
I'm gonna stop you there for 1 second.
Yeah.
I just realized on the camera, I don't think they can actually see the eye holes on the ghost. It
Oh.
just looks like you're wearing, like, I don't know, like a scarf.
Yeah, one of the eyes is like not.
Yeah, they're kind of covered up. Anyway, sorry, go on.
All right, this probably makes a lot more sense then with all the I'm possessed jokes I did at the beginning. I'm taking this off.
Oh,
You're taking the ghost? All right.
Yeah, using my buddy.
Gross.
Go on.
Yeah, so
My FUPA's holding.
so she was told
Go on.
I hate you.
I hate me too.
Spooky. But anyway, so she was told this whole procedure, and she was told, take your dog into each room. The dog's gonna want to leave every single room in the house, but the dog is sort of the key here. What are you doing?
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, if the dog at any point stops crying and
I
stops,
can't honestly.
yeah, I know.
No,
You're the worst person ever. If the dog ever stops screaming or crying for even a second, if it goes quiet, she said to leave the room immediately because the ghost is in that room at that time, and it will make attempts to stop you from like exercising it, type thing. And so, oh god, and so
He's getting stir crazy.
oh yeah, he's nuts. And so yeah, so she went around to each room of the house and she did like this whole spiritual thing in each room. And she was told you have to do every room of the house because what'll happen is if you don't cleanse every room of the house, the ghost will just sort of like hide off in one room in rooms that you don't go. And once the protection wears off, it'll just infest the entire house again and haunt the person that it's attached to.
Yeah.
So my mom was like, all right, and being 7 or 8, she went around the house doing this little ritual, dragging ketchup with her the entire way. The dog's like screaming and crying and howling and stuff.
It takes away from the story.
Yeah, I know. I shouldn't have mentioned the dog's name.
We're naming this. We're naming this like condiments and FUPA. FUPA and
Condiments
condiments.
and FUPA, the show.
The
Is
show.
that the name of this podcast
No.
now? Condiments and
Don't
FUPA?
name it that. I
That's
don't
not
want
a
that
bad
to be the
idea.
name.
No, you don't want that to be the name?
No.
No? All right.
Wow, that's weird. Every time I like, why?
It's
Oh!
broken, yeah.
But it like points.
It points.
It kind of looks like.
Okay, look at this. Okay, so I'll like pull my hand down and it points. I don't know. That's really neat.
It's broken.
Like, I don't know.
Okay.
Okay, sorry, go on.
How much have you had?
Yeah,
how much
anyone
sugar have
watching
you had
this-
to drink today?
Too much.
Yeah.
Anyone watching this,
What? Hmm?
You're sick.
I was gonna say anyone watching this is gonna think Matt's literally a man child.
He is.
I am.
So
You're on.
spooky. Yeah, and so she goes to every room of the house and she does this thing from like top to bottom, and then she realizes they have a basement that they use like only for storage, and she's like, well, I don't want to go down there type thing, and she opens the door and she's like pitch black and just like stares, and all she can see is like halfway down the stairs because the light, of course, is one of those pole lights that every house in Canada seems to have in
Yeah.
the basement.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I have
Yeah,
too.
yeah, exactly.
Yep.
What do you guys
Um,
mean by pull light?
Like
Like
a
on
chain.
a string, like you pull
Oh.
a chain and it turns on.
it's
Yeah.
like they're down there to make it more
Yeah,
scary.
exactly.
Yeah,
They're
honestly,
mandatory to
it's the
spook you out, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so she starts going down the stairs, and the dog's screaming still. The dog doesn't want to go into the dark, all this sort of stuff, but she's dragging the dog,
wanna go into the
and she reaches up and she pulls the chain, and the dog, she describes it as the dog was like howling, screaming, sort of biting the air and stuff, and then just
Stop.
goes absolutely quiet and lays down, like it's resigned to what's happening. It's like, yeah, okay.
I just gave up.
Yep,
I'm going
like
to die.
I'm,
It's like-
I'm dead. And so my mum was like, oh my god. Like she thought I'm gonna die, and she felt like this. She describes it as like
I have the same
not
feeling
really
when
like
my girlfriend talks to me and she's angry. I'm gonna die now.
I'm gonna die now.
Kidding.
Please tell me the Russian woman's just like, you're gonna die, but unless I get your mother's credit card info.
Give me credit card and you won't die, little
She
child.
went from Russian to just this
Estonian.
Wait, what?
What?
Still,
I thought you said Argonian.
But yeah, so she goes to the basement. All that happens, and she feels sort of like, people describe it, ghosts and stuff, usually as like cold or whatever. She felt like a pressure, like something was like bearing down on her, like reaching down towards her.
Yeah, I've heard that. People like
like
the feeling
like she felt this sort of like presence, like angrily reaching for her. And instead of leaving, she continued doing the friggin' ritual thing or whatever that the woman told her to do. She does it as fast as possible, and the dog yelps a few times at the end of it, like freaks out a little bit, and then sort of calms down, goes back upstairs. Never had a problem with the dog again. Dog stopped screaming, everything was fine, no more weird stuff happening in their house, everything fine. But like she said that in that moment at like 7 or 8 years old, she said that was the first time she ever really felt like, I'm going to die. She had like this momentary feeling of, whatever this is, it is reaching out, and if it gets me, I'm just gonna die.
I might as well die.
Yeah, and she managed to finish whatever the hell this gypsy woman told her to do, and then completely fine. Yeah.
That's creepy.
Yeah.
Well, I also have stories too. That was a good one. Not really scary stories, but
Get out.
so through my course at school, we have to take like elective courses like you do.
Wait, what are you taking to school?
I'm taking law.
What was that?
Terror.
Terror.
I hope no one from a law firm sees this because they wouldn't hire me.
What's wrong with the guy in the fucking Flintstones out?
I was playing
holding
with a ghost and the skeleton.
The whole time I was telling that story too, you're like looking at your finger every now and then. You're fascinated by the whole point of it.
Yeah. So
we're kicking you out. You're gone. I'm just gonna. You're gone.
No, yeah, it's unanimous. The ghost wants you out.
No. So I am taking a paranormal and pseudoscience course. Yeah, for my elective.
Please go on.
So it's basically what I thought it was. It was going to be a write-off bullshit course that has nothing really substantial to it.
That makes sense.
Turns out there's actually quite a bit of work. Quiz every week, discussion posts, big assignments, and I don't know, not what I signed up for. But basically the general consensus of every week is like, hey, research this and tell me why it's fake. Every time, every week it's like, I thought it was going to be like, hey, like,
the truth is out there.
Yeah, it's fully like, everything's fake, grow up. And I'm like,
really?
Wow. Yeah, like, what the hell? Yeah, it's like ruthless. It was 100% opposite to what I thought.
So
it was
like, you're taking a ghost class and they're telling you ghosts don't exist.
Yeah, basically.
Did they open like the first lecture with, all right, losers, Santa's not real, the tooth fairy's a lie. You're like, go through all these horrible things. It's just like
everyone starts crying.
Yeah,
are you just crying while saying
oh my god.
Cry every year that. But no, I don't know. It's kind of like everyone has their own beliefs in like ghosts and aliens and pseudoscience, like telekinesis and stuff like that. But it's kind of weird that like a actual program at a school. Well, okay, it's weird that a program at a school is offering that.
Yeah,
in
I was
going
to say it's weird that they offer like paranormal and you type course. Like,
but no, I thought it would be more interesting instead of like everything's basically fake.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I thought you'd be like chasing Bigfoot and stuff or something.
I was so hoping that for an assignment that we had to stay in a haunted house. I was so hoping that they'd be like, you have specific locations, you have to stay there for the night.
You would not pay me enough to do that. After those movies and stuff you showed me, I already don't like that sort of stuff. You couldn't pay me enough to actually.
Nothing's stopping us now from going to a.
But where do we have one near us? I don't know. Me and you. We're going to a haunted house.
We should record it. I want to do it.
Skeleton shake on that.
Skeleton.
No, I'm serious.
he's like Cody. We're going to a fucking haunted house. And if not, we're gonna make a haunted house
too. Like this is sealed. You're doing it.
I feel pressured. I feel like I'm the one that wants to go to the haunted house, but he's just so aggressive right now. I'm afraid.
I'm so aggressive.
He's like aggressively. We're doing it.
I'm sorry.
But yeah, we're doing that, right? Like
you.
I'll do it. I've
Gilmour's gun.
I've told you before. You can like shoot me for the channel.
We literally had that planned at one point in time. We're gonna shoot him with a paintball gun, like
Point
camera.
blank.
You're
Yeah.
gonna shoot Gilmour, not me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking
I was,
shoot
I was
Gilmour.
gonna say. I think at first we set it up that Cody was gonna get
I
shot,
don't remember
and then
that.
yeah, and then it switched around halfway through. It was like, yeah, Gilmour would do it. All right.
I guess. Yeah, might as well shoot Gilmour.
Let's say it right now that like if we get to, let's say like 100 subscribers, we'll
Oh yeah, 100?
100, yeah.
100.
How about 100 subscribers? We'll go to a haunted house and shoot Gilmour in it with a paintball.
I'm okay with make it haunted.
We'll make it haunted with Gilmour.
Just send me in and be like, look out, it's a ghost. Just start.
Oh fuck! Can you see that? There's a ghost over there.
I can't believe I volunteer for this shit.
Yeah, I know. I can't believe either.
would
I don't know how we
definitely
get you
do
to
it,
do this. Cody, you got any spooky scare? There was like barbed wire on the back of this. I don't know why. It keeps jabbing me.
It just came out, and they're working on the streets. They're working on the sewers on my streets. So I mean, that's a little coincidence that it lives in the sewers, and that scene in the movie. Spoiler alert! Very first scene in the movie.
Spoiler.
Pretty much anyone on Earth has seen it. So if
Yeah.
you haven't seen it, you deserve for it to be spoiled right now. But like that beginning scene, like the iconic Pennywise in the sewer scene.
Yeah.
And there's sewer construction going on. That looks exactly like my streak right now. So, I think for Halloween,
Creepy.
for Halloween, I think I'm gonna be
A
Georgie.
clown and hide in the sewers.
It's bad that I thought the same thing. I'm like, don't hide in the sewer, Cody. You're gonna get shot or something.
Like-
I already hide in the sewers without the clown costume. So what's the difference?
Oh, I was hiding.
the clown costume. That's the difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is a difference.
You know, I think it's weird that like something like a clown costume that like that's supposed to bring joy and happiness. Like if I was in the sewers, just like I am right now, if you were to see me standing in the sewers, you'd be like, oh.
Homeless
But if you were
guy.
to see a
I was
clown
just
in the
like, oh,
sewers,
yes.
you'd be like freaking the hell
Yeah.
out. Just, I don't
See-
even understand
See,
why.
that's the thing about clowns. Like, I don't research clowns because, but like, children don't like clowns, right?
Yeah, that's kind of
Like
weird.
I've never met a kid that's like, "Mommy, Daddy, get me a clown!" Like all excited to see a clown, and most adults I know hate clowns. Like they're either scared of them or they're just like, "Yeah, I don't like them. They're stupid."
I bet you clowns are gonna be that thing. Sorry if I cut anyone off, but like clowns are gonna be that thing 50 years from now. Maybe not even like that. They're gonna talk about like, yeah, back in my day, like that's what for some reason like we thought they were funny, but now like I bet you in 15 years they're only gonna be used for like horror.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
they're like not even gonna be
Interesting.
around. Like you know, like
footsies.
I believe it.
oh, I think Matt's coming on me.
Spooky.
Oh, he's coming with the skeleton hand. With his, that's it.
No, like
He's got a
boner.
You ruined my joke. Come on.
Actually, if anything, he finished it. So like, there-
I'll let him finish it.
he finishes it for you. You wink at me.
Yeah.
Like the sexual frustration in this room is too damn high.
Yeah.
So speaking of like clowns and birthday parties and all that kind of stuff, just a random note.
Okay.
My neighbor started not a business, but like he's a retired like GM worker now, right?
Okay.
So now that he's retired, he's like, I'm gonna start a business. He bought a bouncy house castle, and he's going around
Oh my god.
selling like a bouncy house to random
This is
people.
scarier than Gilmour.
But like it's just like, you know, good on the guy. Honestly, good on the guy. It's like he's making money off of something so like silly. I would never have thought to buy a goddamn bouncy house and like rent it out to people. Like it's just so
So
ridiculous.
wait,
Like, is it just one? Like
One bouncy house.
How does that conversation go? He knocks on the door and says like,
Would you like to
"Would
rent
you
a
like
bouncy
to rent
house?
a house?" Yeah. Is that what he's doing?
Honestly, yes, yeah. Would you not do that? Would you? If someone came to your door and was like, "Hey, $100, bouncy house for an evening," yes.
It seems.
I
Yes.
probably would.
Yeah.
In all honesty, like I don't have kids.
How much?
But I also don't have anything to do
no
with
idea.
my life.
But like,
So like,
I don't know.
I would, yeah, like even like you can do more with the bouncy house than just bounce on it too. You can like jump off your roof onto it. You can like don't
You do have a. You can do that normally.
don't pull like
Don't
a
do
Michael
that.
Scott and just like
Yeah,
try to fake your own death and
Parkour.
jump off of like a 5-story building. But like I mean like I don't think you die from
just
jumping
use a
off, like-
watermelon first.
It's hard to pick up things with my skeleton things.
yeah,
Then don't use it.
I think I'm pretty sure he uses like a trampoline first.
Yeah,
Then
he tries a trampoline and he throws the
drops it on
thing off and it explodes over someone's car.
I mean, well, because if you watch like movies and stuff like this, stunt people will jump off onto you. But like,
But I'm pretty sure they don't
inflatable
use a
things-
friggin' bouncy castle.
No, but it looks a lot like a bouncy castle without the walls.
It looks like it's.
We are not talking about spooky stuff. We
I'm
have
sorry.
to get back to spooky stuff.
Sorry.
This is our Halloween podcast.
Matt got spooky there.
Let's just talk about spooky bouncy houses.
Cody, I want to hear a scary story. I want to hear the scariest story you got. What's
I-
the scariest moment in your life?
I don't
Right
believe in
now.
ghosts though. I can't like. Okay, I've got like
You would
occurrences.
be great for my class.
I've got things that have happened to me that if they happen to anyone else, they would think they're ghost things. But okay, one time I was at my aunt's house
I got a question.
and I was dog sitting. So I have 2 dogs on my bed. I'm at the end of my bed. They're like the doorway for the hallway is pretty much, and you can look right down the hallway by like just sitting on the bed. So that's where I was, and I was sitting on the bed with the dogs at the end of it. What are you doing?
What are you doing?
I have no idea.
Keep going.
Okay, I'm gonna continue with my story then. So, anyways, I know this light. It was like midday, like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I saw like a ball of like light just past the doorway, right? Like not like a ball of light, like just something magical. But I mean, like if somebody was to drive by, right, and you know, like
Oh, like headlights type.
yeah, but it was daylight, so like just reflecting off like the metal of their car,
Right.
like you know how you'll just see a shimmer when a car passes by. That's what I thought it was, but it came from the other side of the door, not from in the room. So like, because I knew that because it only passed the doorway, like it didn't affect the wall on each side of the doorway. So, anyways, what happened was.
MCA.
Well, okay, I can't believe that worked. But yeah, so I just thought I didn't think anything of it, but the dogs were sleeping at the end of the bed. Like they weren't awake, like just consciously laying there like lazy fucks. They were sleeping, okay? When the thing passed on the outside of the door in the hallway, they both looked up immediately and it caught my eye, and just ever since that's happened, like cuz they both their heads shot up, okay? And it was quiet, like no noise or anything, just a glimmer past the door, and it was something to wake them up. So that's the only thing paranormal that's ever happened to me, I guess. But like that I can think of, but I don't think it was like it could have been a ghost, but I'm not really a believer in ghosts.
Yeah.
Let me ask you guys a question about pseudoscience instead of the paranormal.
Okay, I'll stop you right there. What the fuck is pseudoscience?
That's
That's like the third
idea.
time.
I'm in the class. You think I know?
So you hear this from the class, so this is your like the word
Yeah.
of the day, pseudoscience.
Oh man, that happens a lot.
I'm just gonna every time like something happens and I can't explain it, I'm just gonna blame it on pseudoscience.
Yeah, it's just like pseudoscience.
Pseudoscience. God damn it.
Spooky science.
Telekinesis and mind control, mind reading. Do you guys believe in that?
I don't think I believe in a person naturally being able to do that, but I definitely believe in like machine type mind control, like
Yes.
like nanobots or
Yes.
things like that, because they've
I was gonna bring
proven
that
that
up.
if you poke certain aspects of the brain or if you activate certain neurons and things like that, you can physically make someone move, or you can even change people's brain chemistry.
You want to hear something real weird? So what
This freaks
happened
me out.
was a person in, I think it was like India and France, were hooked up via like internet and a computer headset, and one person thought about one word and the other person wrote it down on a piece of paper. How cool is that?
Like they stuck stuff
like-
on their heads.
No,
or
no,
something?
they-
It's like
they
something
just,
from
like-
America's Got Talent.
Like one person in India would be like, I'm thinking of an orange, and just really strong thinking of an orange, and they both had the headset on, and it was like a controlled scientific
Wait, they were
research
across
thing.
the world from each other?
Across the world, so they had no communication at all other than these headsets, and the other person drew an orange because the other person was thinking about it. How cool is that?
It's cool. Like the sciencey person in me is like, that's amazing, and then the person who's paranoid inside me
Yeah.
is like, that terrifies me.
Yeah, was it?
Because like I have this whole thing about like memories and stuff like that. Like, because all we are memories and our thoughts, right? Like, just taking your friend away from you. Oh, Matt's super spooked. But yeah, all we are memories and like the look on your goddamn face.
He's still looking at me.
So the fact that like someone could, if they wanted to, drug me, put a thing on my head, and change everything of who I am, what I think, and everything like that with like a machine, that terrifies me.
He's gonna give him the keys.
I don't know. He's it's like you said before.
Caffeinated.
He's like a dog with his head out the window. He sees something that's just like.
I've been like that tonight. I'm not usually.
Yeah.
I'm not usually a dog with my head out the window.
It's like barbed wire.
I don't know.
But yeah, that is kind of like a good point. Like, when technology advances enough to like that level,
Yeah.
the level it's already at. Like,
Yeah.
it's scary what the
Some of the
application
stuff they
of
can
it,
do
right?
is insane.
So freaking
Okay,
out.
what freaks you out the most? What is like the scariest aspect in your mind? Like, it doesn't even have to be like. It could be like.
Are we going over
You
your
know mine.
phobia?
You guys know mine.
Oh
Okay,
my
we'll do
god! I
his
forgot
last.
about that.
We'll do his last.
Okay, well, yeah, we'll go to Matt's last because his is probably gonna be the best.
So you're asking like what's
Yeah.
our greatest fear?
So like, what do you like? What freaks you out the most? Like, but like, why? Like,
I think the thing that freaks me out the most is people tampering with my mind and not being in fully control of my mind. Like that's one of the reasons why I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do anything that could affect my perception because it terrifies me the idea of like what did you just say?
I was like, anything fun?
Yeah.
I'm kidding. I'm
No,
kidding.
Dude,
I totally recognize that though. Like I do realize that like, and I have nothing against people who drink or who do any of that sort of stuff.
Do the weed.
Go out and have fun. Do it safely, but go out and have fun. I personally don't like having fun because I feel like if I'm not in control of my mind or whatever,
That's interesting.
I'm terrified of that.
Yeah, you don't know
I'm-
what you're gonna do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
no,
have
I
no
got
idea.
you.
And it's not even like the embarrassment aspect of it, or like, oh god, I threw up all over someone's car, or I did whatever. Blah, blah, blah. We're not getting into that.
More often than you think.
Yeah, but like, I it's not that. It's the fear of like, I don't know what I'll be
Yeah.
like, and if I don't remember it either, how do I know that what people told me is true and stuff? Like it becomes a whole cycle
No,
of
I hear you.
paranoia.
I hear you.
seems like something
Yeah.
that's easier to avoid.
Yeah, exactly. It's easier for me to avoid it altogether than for me to have a beer and then worry about, oh my god, did I say something 5 minutes ago that I don't remember and got me in trouble and blah, 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 and then it just becomes a whole paranoia thing.
Yeah.
Anything to do with mind alteration messes me
You
up.
really would not like fucking Scarecrow's gas from
No.
Batman. That would
No.
freak you
Can
out.
you imagine?
People always say like Heath Ledger's Joker is like all creepy and stuff, and they're like, oh, he's the best and stuff. Friggin' Scarecrow in
Yeah.
the first Batman Begins or whatever, that scared the crap out of me. Just the whole thing of like sprays you with a little bit of gas and you lose your mind and have no idea who you are. I was like, I'm done. I can't.
I'm imagining like if you were to do that to you, like all of a sudden like you just like fucking weed like plants everywhere, like everyone's Snoop Dogg, just like
I become
with
just like
Bud
the most
Lights.
relaxed person in the world. It's like,
I hate this.
I'm so calm, make it stop.
Make it stop.
What about you, Cody? What's the thing that freaks you out most?
Oh,
I
let's.
don't want to see.
I don't.
No, I'll say
You
it.
are like, if I'm going to a haunted house for 100 subscribers and getting shot, like if you're gonna shoot me and put me in a haunted house, you're definitely telling your phobia.
Okay, fine.
We're doing it live.
Like, there's some dark places in my head. Like, I'm just thinking of like the things that, because I've seen a lot of scary movies, and I just like,
it's yeah.
I know, like, I just know, like,
That's a good
if
one.
you can think of anything really bad, I've probably seen it on screen or like thought of it in my head at least, just because like now that I think about that, that sounds kind of fucked up. But anyways, like, I would have to go with like something pretty basic, like getting buried alive or something.
Oh yeah.
But actually, the one thing that like, okay, I think being buried alive would be something that would something like a death
Cool.
that involves you actually having
like
to wait
this.
it out. Like,
So
because-
like you're aware that you're gonna die. There's no way you can get out, and then it's prolonged. Like it keeps going.
yeah, like actually, yeah, kind of. Like I feel like that's something, but like somewhere where like you know for a fact like it's unescapable kind of
Yeah.
death. Like that's ones that just kind of like would suck. I feel like, but like if we're just talking about fears, like my biggest fear, and Matt knows this, razors. Razors
Oh yeah.
freak me out. I just can't.
Yeah, I remember that.
They just like, the fact that a razor can cut you
So
so
easily.
easily. Like you don't like we're all guys. We've shaved and like you
Yeah.
accidentally cut your face. You're like, well, shit, and it just doesn't stop bleeding because the cut's so deep.
I don't shave my
Neck
face much
beard.
anymore. I have really sensitive skin, but so like it's easier to do this and just trim it. But like my neck, I do shave, and almost every time I shave, you're absolutely right. If
Yeah.
you even like jerk your hand a tiny
You do
bit
it.
with a
Cover your
razor,
neck beard.
it
You
immediately
want-
just sort of like
cover it with the
slices.
ghost.
Cover your neck beard with a ghost. Maybe it didn't show up on the camera. Maybe no one knew you were a neckbeard until just now. And that's
My
Matt's
biggest
ultimate
fear.
Yeah.
Can't
All right. What's your ultimate?
After this podcast, I think people will be like, yeah, it's real.
That's the ironic part.
No, my biggest fear is that I am secretly retarded. But like
Like with the soft
I
side
don't
of-
know it. So like it would be that I am mentally challenged, but nobody is telling me or letting me know because everyone hates stuff that I'm scared. But no one's like telling me because everyone's too polite. It's like you're not gonna walk up to a retarded person and be like, "You're retarded." Like I don't know.
I mean, like,
Like
2
I
out
don't
of
know.
3 people in this room probably wouldn't, but
Hey,
That's good.
I've talked to my mother about
No,
your fear
no,
before.
no.
Yes, I have because we were talking about like, but my mom brought up like some sort of phobia of some relative, and so I told her yours, and I was like, I figured you wouldn't care
No,
because
I
like
don't
she doesn't go out much. But please don't be watching this.
It's okay, nobody is.
100 subscribers. Haunted house shooting Gilmour. Maybe not
If
that
that's
one.
not gonna sell you on it, nothing will.
Yeah, no. But yeah, I told her about that, and she was like, "He knows how ridiculous that is, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, but in a way, it kind of makes sense in your mind, right?
Yeah.
Because like your fear is that we're just not gonna tell
Yeah,
you that
like,
you're mentally challenged."
letting me on.
Yeah,
I'm
and then when you
not.
bring it up and we're like, "Of course you're not mad," or even if we joke, "Yeah, you are," you're like, "Haha, you guys are funny," and then 5 minutes later you might go, Was that part of the ruse? Was
Yeah,
that part of
honestly, honestly,
And it turns into this like whole circle, right? Of like,
honestly, yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's on it. Like, there's nothing you guys could say that would,
Like-
unless like a doctor told me, like sat me down, like,
unequivocally, you
yeah,
are
you
not.
are not, you don't have,
You are not.
I'm just seeing
Why
like
did you choose Down
I don't know.
syndrome out of everything? Like, if anything, you're autistic.
you know what?
Hey,
We're all on the spectrum.
yeah,
like,
I was about to say that.
whenever
We say that
when
every
somebody
podcast.
says that,
I
when,
think so.
when somebody says, okay, I'm not even gonna make this question because this is supposed to be a Halloween theme, and we're gonna end up
No,
talking
wait.
about like autism. But when somebody says like we're all on the spectrum,
We should,
What?
we should release this on like Autism Awareness Day
Oh my
instead
god,
of.
no.
What's the
No.
I'm kidding.
difference?
This is.
So
Okay, all right.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
you know how our
Funny
podcast
stories.
used to be bad, and then it kind of got a little tolerable. We just went bad again.
Yeah.
we just went like full. At least it's not the Christmas special.
That was fun. I enjoyed that one. Alright. Anyone got any more spooky stories? Or,
I'm out. I'm tapping out. I think.
Well, there's a part 2 to my mom's scary story.
Let's hear it.
Stop using the skeleton glove!
No.
Oh, my audio's probably blown out there from me screaming.
Fine.
Yeah. So I think I've told you before, my mom has this whole thing about Ouija boards. She refuses to let them in the house. My sister once said that she was going to buy one to try it out with her friends or whatever, and my mom like was livid. She like threatened to ground my sister. She threatened to take
Wow.
away like her whatever the hell she likes. I don't talk to my sister. And so like she was absolutely adamant. So I figured there was something there, like something happened to her or something like that. So I talked to her one day and I was like, "Why do you hate Ouija boards so much?" And she says, "All right, so you know the story about me going through the house, banishing a ghost, all this sort of stuff." I'm like, "Yeah, the crazy schizophrenic, you're insane story, right?" And she goes, "Yeah, that one." She says, years later, she was in British Columbia going to university out there. Spooky. And she said she came home one night and her roommates had a Ouija board. And they were, screwing around like, "Does he like me? Ha ha ha. Ghosts make your presence known." All this bull crap that people do with Ouija boards, right? And my mom walked in, and she said as soon as she walked in, she felt like the air kind of go cold and stuff.
Really?
And because all the women in my family have this thing about they think that they can see ghosts and stuff like that, she immediately was like, oh Christ, they've summoned something here. So she was like, I'm leaving. I'm not even going to be in here for this. And her friends, you know, kind of peer pressured her into staying, saying like, come on, it's not that spooky. It's a board, like calm down sort of thing. She was like, fine. So she went over and sat down. Now, she has sort of a gift, and I've seen this type of thing happen with her, so I know that, like, she can do it, and my grandmother could do it.
There's a barbed wire over here.
Yeah, I don't know why you're putting a lawn ornament on your body. Of course it's covered in barbed wire, you moron.
Matt's like, it's so hot in this Flintstones outfit. Let me
I'm gonna
cover
cover
a
myself-
fucking ghost on me.
myself in a ghost thing. But yeah, so she went over to the board. And she has this thing where she and my grandmother both could move Ouija boards without touching them. She would just hold her hand over them, and the thing would move. Like she would just hold them still, and like not have to move the actual triangle thing. It would just do it on its own.
Oh, okay.
And so she went over, and she put her hands like gently on the thing, and they did the whole summoning thing where it's like, if there's a spirit present, make your presence known, or whatever it is. And immediately the thing shot over to yes, like there's something here. And she goes, okay, that's terrifying.
Never mind.
Illuminati.
Yeah,
It's because it's a triangle.
Yeah, exactly. Right. You're just putting the Illuminati on it. It's like, oh, power of the Illuminati.
But yeah, so she did that, and her friends were like, whoa, how'd you make it move without actually like grabbing it or anything? And she's like, it's just weird, man, it's whatever. And then she started asking the thing questions, and like they asked it like, are you a relative of hers? No. Are you a friend of hers who's passed on? No. And then finally they asked her, or she asked the ghost in the room, do I know you? And it went over to yes. And she goes, well, like who are you? And it goes over to no. And she's like, okay, that doesn't make any sense. What the hell's going on? And then she said she felt almost as if like hands were on top of her own. Yeah, on top of her head. No, on top of her own hands. And she felt like something pulling her hand along, and it started spelling out words.
Oh, weird.
Like, because it does the whole thing on the Ouija board with the letters. And so she was spelling out whatever, and they're writing it down, and at the end she got a message, right? And the thing stops moving, and she goes, all right, let's see what it says. And she holds it up, and it says, you don't remember me, but I remember you. And she said, like, she sort of like stared at it a few minutes. All of her friends were like, the fuck was that type thing? And then she says, no word of a lie, the lights flickered, a glass got knocked off a table like across the room, and she felt the same like pressure that she felt in the basement of her house. And she like felt this thing like bearing down on her again. And so she screamed, ran out of there, and they were all dead like a week later.
Oh, what?
What? All of her roommates were dead like a week later.
You're lying to me.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, I feel like-
All of that was true up until the dead people thing. But
You should have started with that.
start with the dead sorority girls next time, right, Cody?
Yeah, I'm gonna this. There we go.
Yeah, no, put that in. All right, well, that's pretty much
yeah.
it for me. I don't have anything.
I don't
else.
have any dead sorority girl stories, so I'm good.
I have a couple, but I'm not gonna say them.
Yeah, I'm gonna save them for next time.
Yeah, actually, yeah, we're set for time. Thank you for listening. Yeah, for 100 subscribers, not to sell out, but I mean,
Oh, we're
that's
selling
what
out.
I'm doing.
You know what?
Yeah, actually, haunted house. I really do actually want to do that. So we'll record everything at 100 subscribers, and we'll release it
Sometime after that.
Yeah, anytime after that. Thank you again for watching. Yeah, and have a good one.